So we've already talked about the three main ways of editing, and I know it seems like that's not very much, and we spent a lot of time only talking about 3 ways, but virtually everything you could ever want to do in editing, every clip that you could possibly want to put together, every way in which you'd want to edit, can be done with just those 3 methods, by using the in and out points, the razor blades, and the trimming tools. It's simply a matter of your own imagination from that point and how you want to use those clips, how you want to put them in order, and what you want those clips to be, the pacing of it, how short or long each clip is, and what your subject matter is. Now there's a number of other things that of course can be done in a professional grade program, so from this point on we're going to talk about some of those kind of details. So first we're going to look at just a few of the random things that you can do in Premiere Pro with some of your clips. Just one real quick thing that I want to mention. Let's just say, for instance, that you have these little holes in your project that you obviously don't want to have a couple of seconds of black in between each of your clips. Now you could potentially just go through and, just go back to my arrow, you could potentially just go in and move them all down by hand one at a time. And yes, because right now there's only a couple of clips in here, that's not really a big deal. But let's say that this was the beginning of your project and you had 20 minutes worth of edits after this point. So that's, hundreds of clips. You don't want to move hundreds of clips all at once. One way that you could do this easily is by highlighting all of them. One way that you can highlight is like in any Word document or any sort of other program where if you simply put your mouse like over the clips and click, you can now drag and highlight everything at once. So you can move them in one chunk. Or another way to do it is if you go over to your toolbar, you have something called the Tracked Select tool. I highly recommend using this tool all of the time. It's very convenient. Where if you click on one clip, it'll highlight that clip and everything after it. So you can move everything as one giant chunk. Now when you do that, you have to then click off the clip to go to the next one, or else it'll try replacing the previous clips. So that's just something to be aware of. Once you have all of your clips in place, there's a couple of other things that we can do that are kind of neat. Often people will ask, how do you separate your audio from your video from each other? Because sometimes you might want just the video, so you could put a CD or a music track underneath, which we of course will do audio in a little bit. Or you maybe want to keep just the audio underneath and put different video on top of it. But of course you can't just click on, say, I'm just going to move these 2 clips out of the way. You can't just click on, say, the video to delete it and leave the audio, because it'll delete the entire thing. So what you need to do is unmarry the video and the audio from one another. Easy way to do that is you simply right-click on that clip, or if you want to do it to a lot of clips, you can highlight all of them, right-click on it, and go up to where it says Unlink. Click that button. Now your audio and your video work independent from one another. One thing to be aware of is when you unlink your video and your audio from each other, it's only going to do it for the clip that you told it to. So notice we did not unlink it from this clip, so these ones are still touching. Once you've unlinked it though, remember that you have done it, because one of the things that can happen is that people forget that they unlink their audio from their video and they go to move the clip somewhere else in the timeline and they forget to move the audio with it, or they forget to keep the mouth synced up with the sound. So just make sure that you remember that. If you ever want to link them up again, it's easy enough. You just re-highlight it, right-click on, and hit link. And now they're all linked together. A few other interesting things that you can do is, let's say that these 3 clips, you always see right there, I just moved my video without the audio because I forgot that it was unlinked. So let me just re-link that real quick. Let's say that these 3 clips, you always want them to be together. You might move lots of other stuff around, but you want these 3 clips to be stuck together permanently. Easy enough to do that. You simply highlight them again, right-click, hit where it says Group, and now these 3 clips are automatically married. They're like one giant clip. So now if you move one, it's going to move all of them. If you want to undo this, again, same thing, just highlight, go up to Ungroup, and now they're all separated again. Couple of other neat little tips and tricks in here. Let's say we're looking at this video here. We're just going to play it of guys dancing. Some things that we could do is if we were to right click on this clip, we have the option of going to where it says speed and duration. We click on that, we can change the speed in which this action is happening. So let's go 200%. We're going to make it go really fast, and as you'll see, one of the things that happened was that the clip got shorter because they have a lot less time to do the same amount of action, and it's going to speed it all up. Now what's interesting about this is it's going to speed the audio up with it. So if you're going to do it to a song, it's going to speed that song up and it's going to sound kind of like the Chipmunks are singing it. Now if we go back to speed and duration, we can also bring this down to 30%, we'll say. And now it's going to put it in slow motion. Now this is not particularly good slow motion because you can see all of the blur in his legs. So if it's something like this where they're moving really fast, you probably don't want to slow it down quite that much because you are going to get a little bit of a motion blur around it, but it does have a pretty neat effect with it. Just going to undo that. And another kind of neat feature that you can do with it, if we go again to speed and duration, there's a button right here saying reverse speed. If we click that, what it's going to do is it's going to make the clip go backwards. So now the bubble is going in the other direction. And of course, you can use that on absolutely anything. So that's a guy playing, so that's not really going to work. But this guy running, we can then go speed and duration, reverse the clip. So this is the sort of effect people like to do all the time if they're doing things like milk is coming back into a carton instead of pouring out, or there's a number of different things you could potentially do with this.